Hashtag just Ultra Things. Hi everybody, Ultra here, as you guys know, because I'm uploading it to my channel, so boo. Wanted to take a minute and explain why I have been gone. Life sucks. Not all the time, but a majority of the time you'll hit spurts where you can't help anything, and you try your best, you try and try and try, and you still get pounded into the ground. Past couple weeks have been extraordinarily difficult for me. I've tried my best to take care of my mother since I've moved down to the DC area. I've been here about 2 years, and we were making great progress at one point. I got her up, she was around, she had energy, she was feeling great, and then probably about, I'd say almost 2 weeks now, she got very, very ill. And I tried everything I knew. I've had some background in, first aid and placing IVs, really just combat, I would say healing, but combat medic training. Not extensive, but, I knew my stuff for the most part. Well, she came down with some sort of intestinal virus that pretty much put her down for a whole day, where I had just every 20 minutes, she didn't know where she was at, or she just wasn't aware of time. So, after battling with that, trying my best to take care of her, I finally made the judgment call and called 911. With that being said, it took about 4 people to take her down the stairs, and I had been on the phone previously with the hospital or her insurance providers asking for help. It's like, okay, this is the issue, this is the issues. What can I do? Can you guys send me help? Because I couldn't take her down. I'm on the 3rd floor. I couldn't take her down the stairs. So, after much attitude from the nurses and people on the phone saying, what do you expect us to do? I get very upset. And rightly so pissed off. It's just how are you supposed to react to that sort of thing where, you're calling for help and these people are like, well, what are we supposed to do for you? It's like, I don't know, help. So I made the judgment call and called 911. They came here. Her blood pressure was at 80, or it was less than 80, excuse me. The EMTs were amazing. They were so helpful. I did whatever I could to, help get Mom down safely. They took her away in an ambulance, and she was in the hospital where they admitted her, and then she couldn't breathe on her own. So at that point, it was like 3 o'clock in the morning. I went home. This is like the whole day had been like 48 hours of me probably on maximum of 2 hours of sleep. Just, getting up, taking care of her, giving her water, trying to keep her hydrated. And that was the biggest thing that made me call, because with an intestinal virus of her magnitude, you can imagine the things that come with it. I'm not going to go into too much detail about that, but with that, she was severely dehydrated, and I knew what was going to happen if I didn't make a decision. And I didn't realize it was as serious as it was, because I've gone through this before with her arthritis. So she was admitted. They put her on oxygen, and then I left around 3 o'clock in the morning, came back here, got a little bit of sleep, called out of work. I was out of work for like a week straight, and updated my boss and all that stuff. Always talk. Communication is always key. They were very understanding, amazing people I work for. So she was on a breathing tube for about 7 days. And my brother flew back in from Lima, and my other brother came up from Cary, North Carolina, just to see her, because it was not looking good at all. It was very, very grim, very, very dark, present for me and my brothers. And not to mention my daughter was also here as well. And I didn't take her to see her just in case. I didn't want that to be her last, her last memory of her Grammy. So, with that though, she needed rest. She got her rest. With that, Sorry, I'm just trying to place together all the words, everything that happened, because so much happens within a week, within a day usually. But she persevered, and they took her off the breathing tube. She passed her breathing test. They tried multiple times to see if she would do it, and her blood pressure just would get up to a good level, and then it would half itself for some reason. They couldn't figure out why. They put her on steroids. They put, at the time, in the two days she was admitted, they put at least, the first day, they put 6 bags of IV in her. That's how dehydrated it was. And that was with me constantly, like, going in there, making her drink water. So, with that, she got back up. They put her on some steroids, too, to help with it. And it gave her, like, blisters that were seriously, like, just that fat. And at least that much protruding with just fluid in it. Horrible. You know, I was thinking, shit, she's getting worse. This is spiraling out of control. There's nothing I can do. I went and saw her every day, talked to her. The doctors and nurses said that, hey, she's awake, she's aware, and just, you walk into a room and you see somebody in a bed, you talk to them, and she's moving. She was in so much pain that she was not responding coherently to what was going on around her, but her body was responding to being uncomfortable and in pain. So it's very difficult to watch somebody go through that. I'm sure most of you know or have seen loved ones in that position, and it's heartbreaking. It takes you to a place you don't want to go to, and it makes you more selfish than you really want to be or ever thought you could be, just because you're trying to protect yourself from what's inevitably going to come. With that, she has recovered. I wasn't there when she actually woke up and was with the world. And I get a phone call from her. That's like the first thing. The nurses and doctors didn't even call me, even though I'd been there every day. They didn't call me and told me she woke up. She was in better condition. I get a call from her with a little tiny voice saying, "I'm really sorry I blew up your apartment. I'm so sorry. I hope you are okay." I'm asleep on the couch, get woke up by this, and I'm like, "What are you talking about? The apartment's fine, I'm right here." She's like, "No, it blew up. I left the fireplace on." And I'm like, "Pretty sure you didn't." So, I tried my best not to be as sarcastic as I could, but maybe I threw in a couple of jokes here and there. It's just kind of how I do. So, I tried to convince her she didn't blow up the apartment, and the first day that didn't take at all. The next day, my brother was here, and he and I went to go see her. So, we go in there, and she was still convinced she blew up the apartment, and after much deliberation, we convinced her that she did not, and the cat was fine. She didn't try to blame it on the cat. And we said, no, the cat didn't try to kill us. She's just being ornery as hell. I don't know if you guys have seen my cat, but there will be a video for that. So, after that, we convinced her, moving on, right? So, after moving on, she was then convinced she saw me and her granddaughter, my daughter, Cassie, she saw us on TV, and we're in London with the royal family. And she kept saying, it's like, "Oh man, you gotta get a picture of that, because nobody's gonna believe me." I was like, "Hell, Mom, I was there, and I don't even believe you." So, that's just kind of, I use humor to alleviate stressful situations. Sometimes it don't always work out that well, but it's just a personal trope I like to do. So, she's still a little out of it, and I think what happened is she doesn't remember going to the hospital. How could she? She was in so much pain and so out of it, and hydrocodone that, I was giving her for pain. I didn't overdose her. I just, like it said, every 8 hours, give her one pill, and that's what I did. So, she just, the brain is a funny thing. And it will make connections that aren't there to rationalize why you get to certain places. And there's also been some studies about ICU psychosis, where you're kind of temporarily not insane, but pretty much like you come up with outlandish ways of making connections from getting you from point A to point B, and that's understandable. So, with that, she's doing a lot better. They're moving her today to a rehabilitation center for physical therapy because she still can't move her hands. and I don't really think she can walk that well, but we've had a tough go with the insurance company because we were pretty much forced to move her while she was still intubated. And my brother and I just had a long conversation about it, and I called the lady back and told her, I said, go ahead and move her. Because we didn't really have a choice. They say they wouldn't pay for it if we didn't move her. And we're thinking, you know, what can we do? They, you know, insurance companies, I'm very skeptical about, you know, believing anything that they say. Just because, bottom line to me, they're all worried about money. But that is neither here nor there. But, you know, it's a stress factor. You know, you get your loved one, you get your mother who raised you. You know, I always had a good relationship with my mom. We fight every once in a while, but that's just what families do. You fight because you care. So, we fought with them for a little bit, but finally came to the decision and moved her to a hospital that was probably about 20 miles away. So she's been there, recovering, doing pretty good. I've been wanting her to rest. I'd call her, you know, I'd go by and see her and spend probably about 20 minutes there just telling her, just please get some sleep. Just, you know, you need to rest. We need you to recover so you can be around for, you know, another 20 years. She's 69 right now. So, you know, it's at that point where sometimes you think it's like, okay, how much longer? So I didn't want her to go out like that. She doesn't want to go out like that, and I'm glad she's making that recovery. Thank you, everybody who's, you know, sending me support. I know I've been very vague on it. I have not been present at all in Discord or on my channel, to tell you the truth. I have shown up to some people's streams just because I needed stress relief, and they provided it. You know, thank you to Adam, to KCS, Grackle, Bio, Spongy, Blue, everybody who's, you know, willingly and unwillingly known that they've been helping me. I know everybody's got their whole life going on as well, and it's hard for me to interject and, you know, just put, you know, spill the beans out on the table and say, hey, look at this. This is what's going on for me. Look at it. You know, I'm not going to do that. Yeah, I may want to. It's like, because sometimes you just really need somebody to talk to. And me being the type of person where I can either be the life of the party or I can be the guy standing with his back against the wall just watching everything. It's hard for me to differentiate, you know, how to act. But again, I wanted to update everybody, thank everybody, and say I am coming back. We just had a successful Drinking Souls stream last night, and I had a lot of fun. Things are starting to look better. I'm getting, you know, information so I can make decisions and make the right decisions, so I feel, where she's well taken care of, and my brother can go back to work. I've started back at work too, and I'm also doing college. So at this time, I had my daughter with me, college, work, and my brother here who can't drive as well. He's epileptic and, you know, had a really bad spout last year. So it's me taking care of my world, and it's a lot. It's a lot, and it weighs you down. You know, it made me take a knee, and, you know, I like to believe I can take on the whole world and not break a sweat. But as you get older, you realize you sweat a lot, and at places you didn't know you had. So, thank you. I love you guys. You've been there for me. You've been very supportive. And I want you to know that it means the world to me. So with that, I'm probably going to take another week or two to get everything set up here, because I might have to move her. We're going to have to move her. She's going to be staying at the physical therapy place. And we're going to try to get her a place where she can have assisted living. I'd like to think I can handle everything, but I'm not a doctor. I'm not a nurse. You know, I could put an IV in you, or, you know, bandage up, you know, a cut. I'm coming to terms with that. That's as much as I know right now, because I've lost a lot of that information just because use it or lose it. So things are looking up. I went back to work. Brother's getting ready to go back to work, and we're moving on. That's what you do in life. You move on. So, you know, we're all licking our wounds. We're all standing up after being knocked down, and we're carrying on. So, and with that, one more thank you. Thank you guys so much. And I will see you guys in my next video, which is TBD. But anyway, love you guys. Take it easy, and thank you so much for the support. Bye.